Welcome to Central Park, Wigan. What a great roar of appreciation comes out from the Wigan crowd, this vast Wigan crowd, as the Wigan players take the field. This film this afternoon is coming to you on equipment supplied by Micron Electric. Micron have informed me that in 2 weeks' time they will have a collection of films of the game in Australia. So if you're interested in watching any of the matches being played down under, if you take a walk down Gidler Lane to Micron Electrics, you will be able to hire these films. Your cameraman for this afternoon is Mr. Brian Worthington, who has now been making these cassettes for the Wigan Club for the past 3 seasons. Your commentator today is John McDermott. Very happy to be back with you for the first time this season, having been somewhat indisposed and unable to climb up the ladders. So we hope that you will enjoy the film which we're about to make for you. Today, Sunday, the 16th of March, the eve of St. Patrick's Day, a very appropriate day for what promises to be a titanic struggle in the 3rd round of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup. Wigan versus Castleford. Castleford with a tremendous reputation coming out on the field now, a tremendous reputation as valiant cup fighters and the only team to have beaten Wigan at Central Park this season. So this afternoon is all set for a tremendous struggle. There's a very good crowd on the ground after an unusual downfall of rain this morning, the ground looking somewhat heavy and may well cut up. It may cause quite a bit of trouble in the handling. I will now give you the teams for today's cup tie. A couple of changes in the Wigan line-out. Number 1 is Steve Hampson. Russell is on the wing, Mort injured, so Russell is at number 2, Stevenson at 3, Hanley at 4 and Henderson Gill on the left wing at 5. Lydon is in for the unfit Ella at stand-off half. So we have Joe Lydon at number 6 with Sean Edwards now playing scrum half at 7. The front row, Dowling 8, Kitts 9 and Goodway moved up in the front row at 10. Second row 11, Graham West and Nicky Dutoit at 12. Loose forward 13, Ian Potter, and Wigan substitutes today, Ford and Wayne. The Castleford team is as per programme, full strength, no changes. David Rookley at fullback, Great Batch 2, Marchant 3, Payne 4, Planche 5, half-backs, Standoff, Joyner 6, Beardmore at 7, number 8 Ward, 9 Horton, 10 Johnson, 11 Ketteridge, 12 England, 13 French. Players are lining up with Mr. Lindop as the referee for today. Wigan, having lost the toss, are going to have to kick off to kick down to the pavilion end. So Castleford will probably start off the game in possession. Great excitement among the crowd, a lot of tension among the players as Lindop waves us on. Joe Lydon tries a deep one. Taken by Rookley, running it out up to the 25 line. Wigan, number 8, Goodway, Greg Dowling is in. Forwards driving in, Wigan trying to hold them. Ward trying to bring the ball from outside his own 25. Horton acting half-back. Albany's lost it and Wigan have got it. Dutoit throws a pass which Lydon did well to hang on to. It hung in the air. But now Wigan in a good attacking position. It comes on to Dowling. Dowling bashing his way through. Can't get his pass in as West was trying to drive in at the side of him. Lindop standing on top of the play the ball to keep a close eye as Wigan move it out onto Goodway. And Wigan lost a bit of ground. They're keeping it to the gap for Edwards. He turns it to Hanley. Hanley going for the line. Still struggling. He goes down. Wigan right under the post. 7 yards out. Out to the right, long one to Edwards, to line holding it, dummying, Stevenson going for the line, and he's held a yard short of Wigan piling on the pressure, right on the Castleford line. A lot of excitement, bad play the ball, a long pass to Edwards, Edwards changes direction, going out to the wing, little hesitancy there, 5th tackle coming up, and here comes Hampson's kick. Following it up well, they're all onside as Hampson, the ball's gone loose, picked up by Wigan, but I think they've knocked on. Well, Wigan turned it on there and were very unlucky not to crack them right in the opening seconds. Great roar of appreciation coming from the Wigan spectators as Beardmore comes over to the first scrum. Lindop keeping them apart. In they go. And ball's out to Beardmore. Edwards hanging on to him, helped by Potter, force him down to the deck. And they're bringing it away. Good run. Wigan penalised for offside as Ketteridge came through. Wigan too slow at getting back for Mr. Lindop. And so the first penalty of the game goes to Castleford. Going to kick down the Wigan right wing, down the Popular side. Good high, long ranging kick. Touch judge marks it 10 yards short of the halfway line. Horton moves it inside. Wigan moving up to them. Hold'em, not an inch of ground gain as once more Horton, a short one. Johnson moves it across. Wigan going in hard. And Castleford finding it difficult to make ground. Now they're moving it out, well out to their ball's been dropped again, and Wigan once more got possession. That's twice Castleford have made bad handling mistakes, and in went a thump there. Give him an aspirin, he'll be all right. It's only a slight headache. Penalty to Wigan, 10 yards inside the Castleford half. Hampson makes no mistake, banging it over towards the St Mary's School. Crowd urging Wigan on in this tense cup tie. On to Edwards, Edwards across. Forbes going in, that was a hard, and they came in hard onto Dowling then. Upended on the 25 line, onto Edwards, Edwards the prompter, onto Goodway, Goodway can't get through the strong, stern tackling. Not an inch of quarter being given here, and Wigan have dropped it, and it's gratefully taken by Castleford, struggling around their own 25 line. And once again they come driving forward, a powerful run there by Ward. And a penalty against Wigan for lying on. So, second penalty then. Wigan lying on at the play of the ball. Castleford to kick down the Wigan left wing. And it's sure that's a good kick. A very good kick indeed. Brings it up to 10 yards outside the Wigan 25. Now it's Castleford turn. Referee holding it up with 2 balls on the field. Comes to Johnson. Johnson moves it across onto Ketteridge. Ketteridge flattened there by the Wigan second row men. Both of them in hard. Johnson again turning, the ball's loose, and Wigan have it. Quick onto the loose ball. Every time Wigan get the ball, a great run. There's a wide kick now. We should be back to 1. Yes, the referee signals first tackle as they kicked at the play of the ball. Edwards onto it. Goes out onto Goodway. Goodway driving forward, going hard. Lets the ball go. Wigan still moving it. And Stevenson gains another couple of yards of very valuable ground. Coming onto it, have slow played the ball. It came away, kissed it well. Lets the ball go, and it was loose, and all Edwards can do is to fall on it. Referee says it's gone back as Potter comes up, and the tackling is ferocious. It's flung back to Lydon. Lydon tries a deep one, but it doesn't go past the full-back. Chasing it across goes Rookley, traps it. Coming up to his 25, there's a line of cherry and white shirts, a strong wall of cherry and white jerseys there to hold him. And Castleford are back in their own 25. And he's knocked down to the deck. I think he's in a bit of trouble there. Bit shaken in that tackle. Ward again doing a lot of hard grafting work. Big, strong, powerful forward. Hanley takes him. De Toit coming over to complete the tackle. Ward plays it back, moved inside. Long pass along the Castleford line. And he's been dropped. It should be Wigan's ball. French dropped to the ball. Some bad handling by Castleford. Out to Edwards. On to Hanley. On to Lydon. Lydon going for the line. Coming inside. Taken from behind. Good covering by the defence. The Castleford defence. As Hanley going for the line on his own. Still struggling. Slips a pass, and Wigan have dropped the ball. Nearly over and couldn't keep possession. Payne drops on it for Castleford. Now the forward trying to bring the ball away from that danger zone on their own try line. All the play been in and around the Castleford 25. Ketteridge trying to bring it away, and Wigan moving in quickly to hold them. Forwards driving in again, powerful run there, Wigan forwards going to meet them. It's going to be hard cracking these defences, they're playing well. Ward again, 4 Wigan forwards in. He's still hanging on the ball, looking to get rid of it. Held in the 5th tattle, inside his own 25. And Castleford line up very flat. Here comes the long kick. Deep into the Wigan half. Hampson has it cleanly. There's Russell with him, holding it. Domine decides he's going to play it safe and die with it. 10 yards inside his own half. Russell behind the play the ball, makes a good run, his feet go from under him. Bit slippy and slimy on the top, this ground. As Goodway comes charging forward, he's very much on his own at the moment. Hanging on to the ball for grim death. Lying on at the play the ball, that comes out to West. West driving back into the middle. Runs into the cover defence of England. Kiss out to Edwards. Edwards doing the run around. Long pass out onto Detroit. Detroit gets it on to Hanley. Hanley moves the ball out to Stevenson. Stevenson turning inside. He's swung round and put down in the 5th tattle. Ellery behind the play the ball. But Lydon's gone there. Lobs it on to Edwards. Edwards puts a kick in. Very speculative that. Marchant taking it. Great Britain player coming inside. Easily put down by West. Plays it back onto Plans. Plans go onto Great Batch. Great Batch going inside. Is taken. Beardmore moves it inside onto Johnson. Johnson doesn't get very far. Right running into a brick wall. Horton now waiting for the play of the ball. He has Beardsmore on his left, but he decides he's going to go right. Brings Marchant into it. Marchant's being easily taken and smothered by Hanley and West. And Castleford find it difficult to make progress. Ketteridge now driving in, runs into Dowling. Wigan forwards are in there, equal to the defensive task. Now, long one goes out, kick behind the Wigan defence for Russell. Takes it cleanly, has plenty of opposition in front of him, runs right into it. David Stevenson waiting for the play of the ball, moves it to Edwards. Edwards moving it across, Wigan driving in. Goodway looking to get rid of it, but his arms just locked and he's smothered. Coming out to Edwards, Edwards getting the line moving, it comes to Dowling. Dowling a short one and it's been lost by Detroit. Both sides guilty of some loose handling. Marchant dropped the ball there, the referee didn't see it. Looking across it, it goes on to Ward. Ward driving in hard. Detroit and Hanley are in there, and West. Horton moves it out left to Beardmore. Beardmore onto Johnson. Johnson Dominic's made a break, and they just managed to catch his ankles. Beardmore moving it across onto French. Strong run by French. Slips it beautifully to Beardmore. Wigan in a lot of trouble, and Joiner's over. And after all that Wigan pressure, it's Castleford who go into a lead after 10 minutes play. French split Wigan wide open down the middle. Well backed up. And so Castleford, that will set the tails up. After all that pressure that Wigan have piled on. One dropped ball, a couple of passes, a break by French. And Joyner was there to finish off the move, to put Castleford into a 4-0 lead. And an easy kick for Oakley as he faces down to the Kop end of the ground. Well, nobody thought this game was going to be any pushover for Wigan, and in spite of the tremendous pressure they put on Castleford and the forces, the mistakes they forced them into, it's Castleford who've gone into the lead. Good break that by French, came very strongly down the middle, and no mistake with that, it's 6 points to Castleford. Wigan 0, Castleford 6 after 12 minutes play. Third round cup ties are always very hard graft, and this one has all the makings of a real titanic struggle. Wigan spectators will be hoping that it won't be Wigan who'll be doing the titanic bit and sinking. Lydon deep, perhaps not deep enough. Taken by Great Batch. Great Batch running at the Wigan defence. Struggled well there, took them with him. Forwards driving in hard, they're playing it hard, these Castleford forwards. Beardmore moving the ball. Turned Wigan a split wide open again there, nearly through. as England came onto that very strongly. Castleford player flat on the field, but Castleford now hot on the attack as Joyner turns it inside to French. French looking to get rid of the ball, and it's Lydon who goes in to smother him. French hanging on for dear life. Here comes a kick. Should bounced awkwardly for Hampson, having to retreat. Makes absolutely sure, on to Gill. Gill with a lot of players in front of him, beats one, there's a gap, he tries to come down the middle, and Castleford seal it up. Wigan back on their own 25. Edwards behind the play of the ball, short one to Potter. Potter trying to sidestep his way out of trouble. Kiss. Out. Wigan turn it inside to Stevenson. Stevenson to Edwards. He had to hold it. There's a gap. To touch through. On to Hanley. Hanley got a chase for the line. Gill can't get up with him. Hanley still going. But the cover was there. But Wigan split them well then. Gill inside to Edwards. To the Toy. The Toy towering it in. Battling his way onto Stevenson. And Stephen is crushed 10 yards out. Well, Wigan are giving it to them now. It goes to Edwards. Edwards to Dowling. Turned inside to West. West's feet are taken from under him in the fifth tattle. Lydon hoists it. Could be dangerous. Ball's loose. And it's dropped on by Castleford. Back to one. Castleford on their own line. Here come the forwards. Gill and Hanley in to pen them down near their own line. Marchant behind the play of the ball. In a bit of disarray at the moment, Castleford, but they have the ball. Now they're settling down. Wigan going in well into the tattle, coming in fast, coming in hard. Holding them there, but still can't get any points, and that's a powerful run by Ward. Fifth tattle. Fifth tattle gone. Players lining up, ready for the kick into the Wigan half. Not a particularly deep one. Sits up for Russell. Russell slips. Gone his 5 yards. And he's forced into touch. Bad inexperience there. Went over to the touchline, and Wigan have lost the possession. Would have been better coming in field and keeping the possession. Young player, not realising how important possession is. Beardmore comes over, put it in, got it out. Fumbled it behind the scrum. Edwards is on him quickly. Comes out to Joyner. Joyner moving it across. Forwards ploughing in. Castleford now trying to get it out to this right wing, out to Marchant's side. England not getting very far. Oh, he thumped, and it's Wigan who have been penalised. That was a retaliation by England on Stevenson. Referee Fred Lind up there signalling that it was Stevenson who put the first blow in. And that's a long kick, a very long kick. Pushes Wigan back as Horton comes up to start with the tap penalty. Short went on to Ketteridge. Ketteridge driving forward. Stopped dead in his tracks. Horton to Johnson. Johnson holding it. Short went on to England. Wigan forwards piling. Playing together as a pack there. Coming in hard. Helping each other. Working together. Horton, wasted tattle there, tried to go through from acting halfback, got no one. Here's Beardmore, good run from acting halfback. On to French. French proving quite a handful, and he's bounced down to the ground by Graham West. Horton, out to Beardsmore. Beardsmore to Johnson. Johnson, a long one. Oh, and that was a high one. That was a high tattle. Wigan have been penalised for it, right underneath the sticks. And I don't know whether it's the physio they need or a priest. He looks a little bit out on his feet there. Devastating tattle, and referee's going to book Lydon. Name's going to be put down. This should be another 2 points. Lindop having a word with Joe Lydon for that tattle. Writes his name down. And Castleford have put very little pressure down in the Wigan half, and yet they've 6 points on the board and the chance of another 2 here. A very good chance. It's absolutely straight. It's only on the 22-metre line. He should have no problem banging this one over. Castleford, are they going to prove the bogey of Wigan again? Beat Wigan earlier on in the season when Wigan had a very poor team out. Today Wigan are almost at full strength. They pile on a tremendous amount of attacking pressure, and yet nothing to show for it, which must be rather dispiriting. Ketteridge then, right in front of the sticks, kicking down to the cop end. He lifts it and he's hooked it badly, and he's missed. Well, that's a let-off for Wigan. Drop out from the 25. They'll be glad of that one. 24 minutes gone in the first half. Wigan 0, Castleford 6. As Joe Lydon comes up to drop out. It's a deep one. Clean, taken by Beardmore. Beardmore coming up. Running a bit wide. Gets a long pass in. Blanche trying to come back into the middle. On to Ketteridge. Ketteridge ran, he's dropped the ball. Ball's loose, can Wigan drop on it? Wigan got possession. Bit of fumbling there, must be difficult to hold. Edwards made sure. Comes on to Dowling. Dowling driving in, taking them with him, coming on to them like a juggernaut. Great big tank of a man to Edwards. Edwards switches direction. Short one. On to Goodway. Goodway can't get rid of it. His arms are locked. On the halfway line to Edwards. Edwards to Potter. Potter running at them and finding the defence hard to crack because they maul and pull away at him. A lot of determination in this Castleford defence. Edwards moves it across. Detroit coming down the middle. Gets it back onto Edwards. Edwards to Hanley. Hanley going hard. And Wigan finding it difficult to make ground as Hanley goes down in the 5th tattle. Goes to Lydon. Is he going to kick? Kicks behind the defence. Long-ranging kick. Rookley has it covered. Rookley running out. Wigan defence moving up. Take him on the 25 line. And once again, we're back to the Castleford 25. Castleford moving it across, trying to come down the middle. Wigan arms go out, stretch out and pull him down as Ketteridge makes a drive forward. Couple of yards, no more. Long pass. They go back into the middle, goes Ward, and he bounced down for his trouble. Castleford trying to get away, turned it inside, doing it well. They're turning it in, back into the forwards. Horton Hooker somewhat shaken as they line up ready for the kick to Ketteridge. Ketteridge kicking down towards the Russell wing. Knocks it back. Referee says play on. As Russell tries to drive through a defence that won't let him through. Nobody with Stevenson. He's having to go on his own, turning and twisting. Wigan having trouble getting back there after that kick through. Comes to Edwards. Edwards a short one. Here come the forwards, powering forward. Goodway couldn't get through. As Kiss moves it again to Edwards, to Dowling. Dowling bashing his way forward, but there's good clean tackling going on. Good effective tackling. Out to Edwards. Edwards looking for support to Potter. Potter hands off one, but Castleford are in quickly, and Wigan have been pushed back in that move, and they're caught in the 5th tattle. Lydon to Edwards. Edwards going to kick. Grub a kick along the deck. Good kick. And it's been kicked back to Wigan. We're back to 1. Bit of good fortune for them there as it comes to Edwards, and he's on his own. There's nobody going with him. Now they've got to him, and it's Kiss who's there. And he looked in the wilderness for a while there, did Edwards. Nobody seemed to be bothered with him. Now it coming to Detroit. Detroit driving hard. Taking them with him, still going. Powerful running by Detroit. Henderson Gale gone to behind the play of the ball. Moves it to Edwards. Edwards across to Lydon. Lydon has Hanley with him. Hanley sees a gap. Gets it in. Lydon can't take it. Dropped off a player. Referee says play on. Comes out to Russell. Russell coming back inside. Runs into the cover defence. And we're back to 1. Another 6 tackles for Wigan. As Kiss moves it to Edwards. Edwards on to Dowling. Dowling's nearly through. West with him, but couldn't get rid of the ball to him. Edwards doing a lot of prompting, switches to Hanley, going the other way. Hanley trying to make a break. And there's good tackling by Castleford. Wigan are being very frustrated at the moment as Russell moves it out onto Potter. Potter trying to crush his way through, and Castleford are tackling like demons. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards to Dowling. Dowling changes direction. Turns it back, and Wigan are struggling. The ball's loose, and there's danger, and it's been knocked on, and Wigan have got it again. They're having the luck of the bounce at the moment, but not making a lot of it as it comes to Edwards. Edwards onto Goodway. Goodway drives in onto Stevenson. Stevenson smothered by Marchant. Du Toit behind the play, the ball to Edwards. Edwards to West. West is going to run at them. Gets it back onto Kiss. Kiss onto Gill. Gill gets it to Goodway. Goodway gets it onto Hanley. Hanley out to Russell. Russell coming back in the middle. And he's buried. Penalty to Wigan for lying on. This might gain them ground, which they've been finding very difficult to get in the normal way. Have a chance to kick. Hampson will try to get it into touch down the Castleford left wing, and he makes no mistake. It goes in to bring it up almost up to the Castleford 25. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards switches it onto Goodway. Goodway gets over the 25 line, and he disappears under a mound of Castleford players. Edwards. Edwards decides he's going on his own. He's nearly through onto West. Forward pass. Hard luck that. It must have only been inches forward. Lindop right on top of it. Wigan giving it all they've got, but are finding it extremely difficult to crack this Castleford defence. Beardmore's had it from every scrum he's put in, and Wigan penalised for offside. So Castleford getting plenty of possession from the scrums, but losing it quite a lot in the loose play. Ketteridge to kick for touch down the Wigan right wing. "25 minutes gone. Castleford made one foray into the Wigan half, which has brought them 6 points. Now they're coming up to the halfway line as Ward goes charging in. Hurled back by the Wigan forwards. Castleford moving it out to the right, switch it inside, and that's where the danger's being found. This turning back inside, Wigan having a lot of trouble holding the forward coming through. Knocked on behind the play of the ball. Little bit of over-eagerness. Snatching for the ball. And I'm not sure, but I think this is the first time that Wigan have fed the scrum after 26 minutes play. Not been and a penalty to Wigan. Castleford penalised before the scrum can even get the heads in. Lydon going to kick for touch. It's a good kick, sure. Finds it just outside the 25, outside the Castleford 25. Edwards looking for someone to come on to, and it's Goodway. Goodway's through, looking for support. And he's still there. And he throws the ball, it's been thrown away. Edwards does well to drop on it. It had a lot of time there. He was trying to get somebody to come on it, and they weren't coming. To Lydon. Lydon doing the run around. Comes on to West. West going down the middle. Gets it out, and Lydon wasn't ready for it, and he knocked on. He'd taken his eye off the game. Graham West appealing. I think he thought West was dead with that ball, but he got it moving. Unfortunately, Lydon wasn't ready for it. Beardmore to feed. One Wigan, 1-1 against the head. Did well there. Potter waiting for the play of the ball. Out to Lydon. Lydon a long one out to Hanley. Hanley to Hampson. Hampson straightening up. Trying to come down the middle, but there's no way. David Stevenson having to go on his own as the pack still breaking up. On to Edwards. Edwards running into the defence. Kiss to Dowling. Dowling trying to come down the middle. He's knocked down to the ground. Goodway can't take it cleanly. Trying to come to it on the burst. Castleford again on their own 25. Kettridge bringing it away, striding in, trying to kick his way through the tattle. Joe Lydon has him. Horton going across. Wigan penalised for offside at the play of the ball. Not retired. Far enough for Fred Lindop, and Fred Lindop's not taking them very far back. And he knows that he's only going at 5 yards or so, and this is helping the Castleford defence. They're allowed to lie up very close to Wigan, and Wigan are finding it difficult to crack them. Kettridge puts it into touch on the halfway line. Horton to restart. Here come the forwards, crashing in. Taken well by Wigan, going in hard. Castleford now inside the Wigan half, and there's a break, nearly through. Wigan having a job. He's managed to get his pass in. Comes on to Joyner. Joyner gets away from the Toit. He comes back to take him again in the second effort with Potter. Now Castleford on the attack. Kick behind the Wigan defence. It's rolling, and rolls in. So Wigan push back into their own 25 line. Few yards inside the Wigan 25. 10 minutes to half time. Wigan 0, Castleford 6. Edwards to put the ball in. In they go. And the head shootout again. Thought penalty against Wigan for incorrect feeding. Well, Castleford now in a good attacking position. Indirect penalty. Kettridge takes a tap. Wigan not watching. Caught them on the hop there. They were talking among themselves. Horton coming over 10 yards from the Wigan line. England going in hard. And he's bounced down by the Wigan forwards. Out to Joyner. Joyner turning it back inside. Wigan defence closing up again, but it's 5 yards out from the Wigan line. Wigan under a lot of trouble here. Ward tries to batter his way over, and Wigan hit him hard. Horton moving it out the left. Long pass. Held up the defence there. Gave Wigan time to regroup. 5 tattles gone. 10 yards out. And here comes the kick. And it's a nasty one. But it's going dead. Looks as if it could have been a bit awkward though. So it's a tap from the Wigan 25. Wigan withstood that well. Wigan wanted to get on with it quickly. Good way coming away. Gains 8 yards of ground. Hanley wanted to make a run from behind the play of the ball. Gained a lot of ground. Coming up near up to the halfway line. And that was a good run by Gale. And there's battling going on. Touch judge holding the game up. Bit of aggro going on. Several players involved. Well, there's a lot of needle and a lot of tension. Tempers must be nearly at boiling point. Long talk from the touch judge. Now who's he going to have? He's having a go at England. England seems to be the one who's getting the law laid down to him. And it's a penalty to Wigan, just outside their own 25. Nicky Kiss thinks it should be where he was with the ball. Crowd not happy with that. Think that Wigan have not really had the full advantage. However, it depends where. And now the sun comes out. Perhaps that's a good omen for Wigan. And Wigan are back where they were before with 6 tattles to come. So perhaps they have got an advantage. Gets to Edwards. Edwards to Dowling. Dowling taking them on. And he proved a handful that time. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards to the Toit. The Toit now going to go charging in. But the strong defence takes him. Even his power couldn't break through that. Kiss again to Dalton. Had switched it. Long pass to West. West is streaking for the line to Hanley. Hanley to inside. Lobs it to Edwards. Edwards is knocked down. He's still on his feet. And that was a good attack by Wigan. Kiss. Long pass onto Dowling. Dowling a short one. Wigan trying to bust through. And they're held again 10 yards out. Will this pressure tell before the game is over? Wigan going right. trying to turn it back inside. 5 tackles gone. Comes to Edwards. A long one to Lydon. Lydon kicks. I think it's too far. Bouncing awkwardly and dead. So it's a dropout from the Wigan 25. 6 minutes to half time. Wigan still 6 points behind. And now we have lovely sunshine over this ground for this tremendously tense cup tie. Horton takes a tap. Drives into Kiss. Kiss and Potter bury him. Castleford in the forwards. England trying to come through. Been swung round and put down by Goodway. Switch back again onto the forward, driving in. Oh, and he's pulled at it Ward hard there. And he's lost the ball. Penalty, referee's given the penalty. No, he said he lost it. Looked at the touch judge. The touch judge said it was lost. Thought Lindop looked at first as if he might have penalised Wigan. Edwards to feed. So we come up to the last 5 minutes of this half. Coming out Wigan's side, all he can do is find a penalty to Wigan for offside at the scrum. Lydon wanting to take the kick for touch. It's the pack break up. Can Wigan get some points on the board now before half time? They're needing them badly after all they've put in. Kiss coming up. 20 yards out to Edwards. To the Toit. Toit going in hard. And he's still on his feet. Powerful, strong running. Kiss going on his own. He's a yard short. Edwards waiting behind to play the ball. Bit of lying on. The players having the job sorting themselves out. As Edwards dummies. And he's over. No, he's inches short. Nearly dummied his way over from the acting half-back. And it's a penalty to Wigan. So they've got 6 tackles to come, right on the line. And Wigan going to kick for goal. Been desperate trying to get some points. And it looks as if it might be Lydon who's going to take this penalty. Shouldn't prove too difficult for him. Wigan have had to fight very, very hard. Done nearly all the attacking, but it hasn't brought anything. They're going to have to keep pegging away at it. Ground not so good on top. Firm underneath. As Lydon moves back. Castleford players moving. Arms being moved over their heads as he settles himself. And it's true. It's there. Wigan's first points. Wigan 2. Castleford 6. And they've had to put in a tremendous amount of effort to get those 2 points. Four points in it then. Sketridge comes up. I think he's going to try a long one. De Toit coming in field, away from the touchline. Gains a good 12 yards of ground. Edwards to West. West taking them on. Forwards go at him. Edwards coming at them, looking for support. On to Dowling. Dowling dragging his way. Throws a pass which has gone astray. And Castleford have it. Back to one. Comes out to Beardmore. Beardmore moves it across. Good low tackle by David Stevenson. Puts England down. Now it's Kettridge's turn. And he's buried by Dowling and by Potter. Horton waiting for the play of the ball to Johnson. Johnson a little shimmy. Wigan players don't buy it. Beardmore dancing. On to Joyner. Joyner dummying. Lets the ball go and intercepted by David Stevenson. Wigan will be glad to have that one. As Kiss comes over to get the line moving again. Short one to West, and West gets nowhere. He was too near, gets the ball going though. Wigan charging forward as Dowling runs straight at them, but Ward has him and puts him down. Kiss going through from Acton halfback up to the halfway line. Now it's Russell. Russell to Edwards. Edwards, a long one onto Lydon. Lydon, another long one, which Hanley does well to take. Coming back inside. Can't get rid of the ball, and Wigan lost a bit of ground there. Potter coming up to take the ball from the play the ball. Onto Lydon. Lydon tries a grubber kick, and it's a good one. Fine touch inside Castleford's half. Castleford done a lot of defending. Whether it will tell, whether they can stand all this pressure, the last 20 minutes might show. As Beardmore comes over as the referee's sending him out to the 10-yard line. In they go. Beardmore puts it in, shoots out the Wigan side, and we lost it. Beardmore quicker on it. Came out very awkwardly. Forwards coming hard, and that's a strong run by England. And he's still on his feet, and they're having a job putting him down. Ward charging at the Wigan defence, and it's Edwards who has to take him before he's helped by the forwards. Horton waiting for the play the ball. Coming up to the Wigan 25. Long pass out to Marchant. Marchant kicks over it's covered by Hampson. Should have no problem with this as Marchant goes up to take him. Hampson caught 15 yards out from his own line. Anderson Gale going to save the situation, trying to bring the ball away. Doesn't get very far. As Wigan have to retreat into their own 25. Now it's Kiss to Edwards. Forwards having to do the clear. The ball's been lost. Kiss takes it, but it's a knock-on. Castleford now in a good attacking position, 15-20 yards out from the Wigan line. Right in front of the post, down at the cop end of the ground. And Beardmore to put the ball in. In they go. And it's penalty to Wigan for wrong feeding. They'll be glad of that as we come to the last 2 minutes of this half. Wigan are going to have to play it steady here for the final, these dying seconds. Hampson makes absolutely sure the ball goes right over the top of the stands and sticks in the guttering. Edwards, short one, now the forwards doing it. Dowling, a powerful, strong, tough man. Man of teak. Onto the Doit, and Doit can't take it. The gap was there, he couldn't take the ball. Trouble for Wigan here as they bring the wingman inside. Great batch brought inside the 25. Marchant to Beardmore to Ketteridge. Ketteridge running at the Wigan forwards. To Beardmore. Beardmore, a long pass on to Joyner. Joyner moving, there's a big overlap there, and Wigan managed to seal the gap up. And there goes the hooter for half-time. And this has been a tremendous, close, tight, exciting game. And as the players go off for the half-time, the score is Wigan 2, Castleford 6. So the players line up for the start of the second half. See who's going to go into the semi-final. Wigan 2, Castleford 6, as Kettridge sets it up. Fred Lidnop waves them on, and we're into the second half. Hampson onto Russell, Russell running into the middle, stopped dead in his tracks, and a penalty to Wigan, stolen the ball off him. So Wigan start the second half with a penalty in the middle and on their own 25. Hampson to kick towards the popular side, and he finds it, a bit fortunate. Great Batch nearly got his hand to it, so we come up to the halfway line, to Edwards, to West, West bundled down, wanting to get up quickly, being held on. Edwards moving across to Lydon, Lydon running the run around onto Hampson, and Wigan have lost a good 15 yards of ground. A lot of keenness in this Castleford side as it comes to Edwards. Edwards puts a kick, bounces and rolls into touch. Scrum down then, just inside the Castleford half. Forwards a bit reluctant to meet. We were in the right after shave. Shoot straight out the side. Out to Joyner. Joyner running at Lydon. Lydon and Hampson take him. Roll him over, can't get the ball off him. Forwards, Kettridge taking Edwards, he hangs on to him. Turning Hampson going into the tattle again. Did well to hang on to Kettridge a second or so ago, but it's Castleford with the ball, driving at the Wigan line. Johnson trying to go through, Wigan bundle him down. Horton now waiting to get his team moving. Long one to Beardmore, Beardmore moving it across, and we're going to split wide open. Payne going for the line, and he's held just short. Inchy shot, the referee's given the try. Well, there's an early triumph for Castleford. That's going to give Wigan a great shock. They were split wide open now. And so, early doors, Rookley gets over to make it now Castleford 10, Wigan 2, and Wigan a tremendous amount to do. And it seemed so innocent and so innocuous when that move started. And suddenly they were left wide open down this right wing. Law being laid down to the Wigan players by Graham West in the in-goal area. Got a lot to do now. Kettridge taking a lot of time and care. Just outside the 25 line, 8 yards in. And the ball's fallen over. Referee stops the clock. Wigan 8 points behind. 3 minutes gone of the second half. And it flies past the face of the post. Great roar coming up from the popular side. This great Wigan crowd urging the players on. And Lydon to kick down to the cop. Coming to Rookley, takes it cleanly. He was so thrilled with his try a few minutes ago. An arm went out, he broke through the first tackle. Horton waiting for the play of the ball. To Beardsmore, Beardsmore trying to get his line moving as Ward. Ward's broken through nearly. We're going to having trouble putting him down. He's a big, strong fella. Forward, Kettridge coming driving in. Wigan just managed to hold him as he looks if he was going to slip, plays it to himself, charges forward and gains another good 10 yards of ground. And Wigan are in disarray at the moment. as Castleford pile on the pressure here. Forward driving in, trying to keep the ball moving. And Wigan eventually smother them in the fifth tattle. Flung back to Beardmore. Beardmore kicks. Hampson having to go back for it. Bounces up for him. He has Gill inside him. Decides he's going on his own and he's well tattled. Gill behind the play of the ball. Turning and twisting. Tattle wasted. As they're in on him quickly, watching him very carefully. Switch on to Edwards, to a wing where there's no players. Has to bring Hanley back down the middle. And there's Wigan are not organised at the moment. Poor line out. There's nobody at all on the left side of the field. Now the forwards come straight down, driving in hard, clear the 25 line. There's a high kick, deep kick. Blange and Rookley going back for it. Blange kicks it, referee says play on. Goodway's up there, Detroit's up there, and they crunch him on the 25 line. Rookley behind the play of the ball, trying to bring it away. Goodway has him. Good tackling by Goodway. Beardmore turns it inside, and Castleford going crossfield now. Not running at Wiggins, they've been pushed back into their own 25. Now they're coming driving forward. Lydon goes in, and Wigan hurl him back towards his own line. Drive him into the 25. Horton moves it across. Here comes the kick. Hanson having to go crossfield, takes it beautifully. Has Gill with him. Decides he's going to go down with it. Gill on the halfway line to Hanley. Hanley straightening, trying to come down the middle. And they're hanging on to him, managed to get it on to Gill. Gill turning and twisting, throws a pass at Wigan do well to recover as Russell drops on it. Detroit driving in hard from the play of the ball against 10 yards of ground. Nobody out on the Wigan left wing, but Wigan take it right onto Potter. Potter well taken round the ankles by Joyner. Plays it back to Kiss. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards holding it, sees a gap, trying to go through it, turning and twisting. They hang on to him in the fifth tattle. Hampson coming up. And it goes to Hampson. Hoists a high one. Nasty one that. Well taken by Rookley, runs it out well. And Wigan penalised for a boot going in, says the referee. Penalty to Castleford for someone kicking 10 yards out from the Castleford line. Kettridge takes a tap, Codded Wigan, drives forward, gets up to the 25 line, did a good 20-yard run there before he's eventually put down. Wigan moving in, managed to get the pass in, and they dragged the way out of their own 25. Played very strongly as a pack, these Castleford forwards. So again the forward, and the ball's loose. Wigan have it, they'll be glad of that one. Now, what can they do? 35 yards out, goes to Edwards. Edwards onto Goodway. Goodway driving down the left wing. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards onto Dowling. Dowling trying to make a break, and the defence have him. Now it's Lydon trying to get the line moving. Lydon out, long one to Edwards. Edwards trying to dance his way through, and there's no way. West hoists a kick, chasing it as Rookley takes it, and West is up there to put him down short of the line. Castleford back on their own line. West doing a tremendous amount of work at the moment. Acting half-back, bringing it away, coming strongly. Wigan go in, and he's held 10 yards out. Poor play the ball, and Wigan going up, and Castleford are finding it hard to get away. Potter in, holding them, 5 tackles gone. There goes the kick. And straight into touch. Castleford, are they panicking a little bit? Physio coming on to attend to somebody, being sent off. Wigan to feed, 15 yards out, 10 yards out from the Castleford line. Edwards puts it in. And it's a penalty against Wigan. Loud boos from the crowd, handling in the scrum. Relief to Castleford because they were suffering there near their own line. The Wigan forwards were holding them well. Now they have this chance to get away with a penalty kick. Probably with 6 tackles to come afterwards as Ketteridge comes up. Bangs it in just outside his 25. Wigan go in. Looked a bit lethargic there, that forward, as he came onto the ball. Now there's some hard tackling by the Wigan forwards. Ward driving in again. Ball's gone loose. That should be Wigan's. And it's back to 1. Wigan touched it, couldn't get possession. So it's going against Wigan at the moment, this drop ball. And they're bogged down there in the 10 yards outside the Castleford 25. A gap. Lydon stitches it, ball's loose, and Wigan have got it. David Stevenson has it this time. Lydon behind the play of the ball. Moves it out onto Edwards. Edwards switches it to West, who was standing still. Crowd not happy with this play as it goes out onto Dowling. Dowling going straight and hard. I think Wigan are going to have to stretch Castleford. Playing it very close and very tight, which is suiting them. Detroit trying to get it through. Couldn't get rid of the ball. Now Kiss decides he's going on his own. Put his head down, 5th tackle. To Lydon. Lydon's putting the kick in. It's a nasty one. And it rolls dead. Kicks a little too deep. "12 minutes gone in the second half. Wigan 2, Castleford 10, and Wigan finding it impossible to get a try on the board, spite of tremendous efforts. And equally determined efforts by Castleford. They're not yielding an inch. And Ward is taken by Edwards. Horton, long one. This should be a gift for Hampson. But it's Gill who takes it. Going to go down into trouble, be turning and twisting, not getting anywhere. Comes to Edwards. Edwards a short one onto Hanley. Hanley breaks out of a tackle, lets the ball go, and Wigan weren't watching, and they've lost possession. Not alert to the loose ball then. Joyner moves in onto Ketteridge. Ketteridge taken by Detroit. Horton out to Joyner. Joyner to Ward. Ward running at the Wigan pack. Kiss hangs on to him. Every yard is being bitterly fought for as Horton moves it out onto Joyner. Joyner, a long pass across the field, running back into trouble as West makes sure he goes down on the deck. And they've turned back, and that's the 5th tackle. Just outside the Wigan 25. Beardmore puts in a rolling kick. Hanley takes it, 2nd attempt. Coming hard down the middle, but there's a lot of defence up there. Edwards is back. Gives it to Gill. Gill doesn't get an inch. Now it's Wigan who are being pinned down as Edwards moves it out. keeping it tight in the forward. Dowling bringing him it away. Kiss moves it out. Goodway driving forward. Can't get very far. To Kiss. Kiss having to go on his own. They're in the Wigan line out. Gets it on to Edwards. Edwards moves it to Lydon. Lydon trying to duck his way through, and he's held in the fifth tattle. Plays it to Hampson. Hampson puts a good deep kick in, but it's covered. Not too well taken by Flange. Flange now running it out. And De Toit's up there to take him. Plays it back to Rookley. Rookley running through from acting halfback. De Toit just manages to touch his ankles. Beardmore moves it on to Ward. Ward running at the Wigan forwards. And he shakes his way out of Potter. Gets his pass in onto Beardmore. Beardmore gets it in, and Wigan... Lydon comes in, manages to smother them. But Castleford giving it all they've got at the moment, moving it out to Kettridge. Kettridge trying to come down the middle. Manages to lob a pass out. Castleford hot on the attack. David Stevenson missed him, comes out the wingman. Wingman coming inside. Turney's lost the ball, and Wigan have it. If it's to stay in play, Goodway has the good sense to come inside. Penalty to Wigan. Touch judge has seen it. Payne, the man guilty. Now he's getting the right attack from Fred Lindop. Hampson to kick for touch. And the substitute coming on. Mountain is coming on. Can't see who's gone off.
De Toit's gone off.
And De Toit has gone off, and Wayne has come on. Edwards to Wayne. Wayne goes driving in hard. Gets up to the halfway line. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards to West. West's going to take them on. Gets up to the halfway line and just over it. To Edwards. Edwards to Lydon. Lydon to Stevenson. It doesn't reach him. Hanley takes it. That was a wild pass. And Wigan lost a lot of ground. As it comes inside to Gill, and Gill's dropped it. Looks as if this game's getting to Wigan at the moment. Making bad elementary mistakes. Beardmore to feed the scrum, just outside the Wigan 25. Shoots straight out, Edwards has it, gets it on to Hanley. On to Hampson. Hampson to Stevenson. Stevenson taking them on, gets it on to Russell. Russell managing to stay in play, 5 yards, and he's had the ball taken off him, and so Joyner is penalised. Penalty to Wigan for stealing the ball in the tattle. Into touch it goes, on the just short of the halfway line. Kiss. On to Edwards, to Dowling. Dowling taking them on. Gains a lot of ground. On to Edwards, and Edwards can't take it. And it's gone loose. And Castleford turn it into attack. Quickly out of defence, and Wigan are split wide open as Ward comes turning down the middle. Wigan gaining nothing from that penalty. Going hard down the Wigan left wing. Up to the Wigan 25. Long pass out onto Sandy. Sandy running into the middle. Been picked up. Put down, not dumped. Beardmore gets it out to French. French trying to come through the middle, smothered by the Wigan defence. Horton moves it out to Beardmore. Beardmore switches it back onto Sandy. Sandy trying to go, and he's nearly got through there. His hands grabbed at him, but he hung on to the ball. Fifth tattle. Beardmore puts it up and under. Into the Wigan 25. Hampson takes it cleanly and runs it well. Gill coming inside. trying to come down the middle, and he's unceremoniously dumped. Hanley, long pass out onto Lydon. Lydon trying to come back down the middle. No speed, no penetration and no drive from Joe Lydon this afternoon. As it comes out, Wigan trying to attack down the right wing. Hanley proving difficult to put down, but he's not getting anywhere. The Castleford defence right on top of the Wigan attack at the moment. Kiss coming through from acting half-back, put down in the fifth tattle. Russell. Kick behind the defence, covered by Sandy, who's playing out on this wing. Rounds Russell easily, and then he's put down by Lydon. Horton behind the play of the ball. Wigan penalised for lying on at the play of the ball. Sandy looking in a bit of distress there as Kiss had a bit of a go at him while he was on the deck. Both the Castle substitutes on the field. Halfway through this second half, Wigan's 8 points behind and a lot to do. Horton gets it out onto Mountain. Mountain comes charging forward, dies with it. Beardmore onto England. England's turned round by the Wigan forwards. Beardmore again. Long pass out, then French is through. Cooking hard for the line. And it's good covering, puts him down. Ketteridge moves it across to Beardmore, onto Ward. Ward running at the Wigan defence. And they hold him and smother him. 12 yards out. Castleford hot on the attack now. Moving it along, bringing Mountain inside. Mountain being taken, dragging the Wigan players with him. Goes down in the fifth tattle. Little overhead kick here, which is rather nasty. Hampson's the highest. Takes these so well. Wayne having to bring the ball away. Brings it 5 yards, trying to clear his line, get it away from the danger zone. Now it's Kiss's turn. Crowd oohing, they thought a blow had gone in. As Kiss is being picked up in the air. Edwards, long pass out to Lydon. Lydon moving it across. A break here. Wigan coming down the middle. Goodway gets up to the 25 line. On to Graham West. Graham West looking for support. Gets it on to Gill. Gill coming back down the middle. One wonders if those players had gone back at the last play of the ball. 5 tattles gone as Lydon moves it to Edwards. Edwards across the field. Dowling puts a kick in. Covered by Sandy. Sandy going into the middle. David Stevenson takes him well. England behind the play of the ball, running crossfield. Wayne manages to get to him. Castleford on top at the moment. Coming hard. Ketteridge going in. Bundled down by David Stevenson. Onto Mountain. Mountain running into the Wigan defence. Horton behind the play of the ball. Beardmore moving it across the field. A long one to Joyner. Joyner trying to dance and jink. Put down in the fifth tattle. Rooklis come up to acting half-back. Kicks left-footed. This should be Wiggins as Dowling turns it on to Edwards. Edwards making a break down the wing. Brings Stevenson inside. Russell going on his own, trying to dance his way through, gets over the halfway line. David Stevenson's up with Edwards. Edwards onto Wayne. Wayne back to Edwards. West going down the middle. Gets it on to Kiss, and it's been intercepted. Well, fate's being unkind to Wigan at the moment. Going Castleford's way, on top and staying on top. And they're having trouble with these big forwards. Wayne going in, roll him over. Horton, short one. Ward coming through strongly, looking to get rid of the ball, but Wigan force him down. Oh, Kiss has got one in the face, I think. He's looking a bit shaken. As Joyner runs, turns it back inside, and Wigan smothering them, holding them there, penning them down. And wild pass this time onto Marchant. Marchant Goes down like a sick camel, knelt down onto his knees. Little kick through here, should be covered, but it's well covered by Wigan. Goodway knocks one off, shifts another one. Tommy as well. Russell's lost his feet, looking for support. That was a good run by Goodway. To David Stevenson, to Edwards. Edwards onto Lydon. Lydon decides he's going to go down the middle. He doesn't seem to have any legs this afternoon. Edwards moving it across the field. Dowling going down the middle, turning, looking for support. But Castleford won't let him get rid of the ball. Edwards looking for someone to give it to. Dummy nearly breaks through, gets it on to Hanley. Hanley driving forward. Wigan now taking the game to them. Hanley plays it to himself, puts a little kick through, being chased. Referee says play on. No obstruction. And it's been covered by Castleford in their own 25. Wigan will want to hold them down here now until they can get some possession, put some pressure on them in this 25. Big forward Ward trying to bring it away. Like a man mountain there in the middle of the field. To Kettridge, kick coming up. Hampson and Russell coming back for it. Hampson's ball coming up to the halfway line. And his pass has gone astray. David Stevenson's fighting for it. And it's David Stevenson who has it. Russell managed to get it to Stevenson, to Edwards, on to Wayne. And there's good tackling by Castleford. They're taking everything above grass. Goes to Edwards. Edwards a short one. Goodway trying to go down the middle. A lot of frustration in this Wigan attack. The long one goes to West. And he can't, even his long arms can't get round them. As Potter gets it to Edwards. Edwards kicks behind the defence. Ball's rolling awkwardly, and that's a knock on. And Edwards was flattened after the ball was kicked. He's up on his feet again. Great Batch made a mess of it on his own 25. Scrum down on the 25 line, on the Castleford 25. In go the heads. Ball's coming out the Wigan side to Gill. Gill to Hanley. Hanley a bad pass which Lydon can't take. And the ball's gone loose. Referee's letting it go as it comes out to Russell. Wigan a bit fortunate there. They managed to get that loose ball. Lydon goes round the close side to David, goes to Edwards. Edwards to Hanley. Hanley lobs it. Dowling can't take it. Wigan have knocked on again. Bit of desperation creeping into the Wigan play. About 28 minutes gone. Penalty against Wigan before, and Bainmore's taking it while Wigan are still down. Got the team moving, it goes out to the far wing. Wigan having to backpedal. Driving in again, Wigan going in hard. Bainmore moving it across, Kettridge trying to drive through, and he's nearly through. His legs were almost through then, and Wigan desperately hanging on to him. Bainmore getting the line moving. Joyner, a long pass across. West comes across to lock his arms round Ward to make sure he can't get rid. Ruckley behind the play of the ball. Gets it onto Johnson. Johnson runs crossfield, an easy target for tattling. It's caught in the fifth tattle. Bainmore kicks. Hampson is under it. Hands it on to Russell. Russell is easily put down. Edwards having to run it out from behind the play of the ball, giving his defence time to recover as Hanley tries to make a break, but the defence has him. Edwards to Wayne. Wayne driving down. Powerful run by Wayne. Gets it inside up to Gill. Gill still driving forward up to the halfway line. Good run there by Wayne. Comes out to Edwards. Edwards moving it across the line. Long pass on to Stevenson. Stevenson, good strong run by Stevenson. Gets it back inside. Lydon gets it on to Edwards. Edwards going down the middle. Lobs it out to West. West on to Gill. Gill dummies, turning inside. His feet go from under him. Plays it to himself, driving forward. Lets the ball go. It's still loose. It's Hanley who has it. And Hanley's dropped it. And it's Castleford who have it. Beardmore turning back inside, a long one onto March, and the Wigan wins wide open. Kick through, it's covered. Ibson's across there, and it rolls into touch. Both Wigan left wing pair had come into the centre, and there was a large gap on the left wing, the Wigan left wing, and it was well exploited by Castleford. The sands of time beginning to run out for Wigan. This half, they've never really, not penalty to Wigan, not looked like cracking this Castleford defence at all. Hampson coming up to take the penalty from that scrum for a loose arm against Horton. Good long kick. Takes it up, a few yards short of the halfway line. Edwards onto Wayne. Wayne still going, one of the few forwards who still seems to have enough drive in him to gain the ground. Onto West. West is out on his own as he breaks through. Gets it to Edwards. Edwards onto Lydon. Lydon to Hanley. Hanley on to Russell. And there's a bags of cover there as Russell is put down by Sandy. Plays it to Lydon. The kick through. Should be back to one as Stevenson goes inside. Onto Potter. Potter onto Dowling. Dowling onto Edwards. Edwards looking for support. Onto West. And Gill did well to take that. Gets it back onto Edwards, who's in everything. Onto Potter. Potter a long one inside onto Wayne. And Wayne is going to be put down. The referee says we're back to one. To Dowling. Dowling going at them. A short one onto Goodway. Goodway driving forward. Gets it to Lydon. Onto Stevenson. Stevenson trying to make a break over the 25 line. Had the ball taken off him. The ball's taken in the tattle. Sandy with it. Castleford now in their own 25, playing it safe. Mountain trying to bring the ball away. Sandy coming through, wasted a tattle there. Held up. Horton behind the play of the ball, moving it across. Kick behind the defence. He's having to go back. Hampson deep into his own half. Can he run it out from this broken play? Has Hanley with him. Decides he's going on his own, and he's followed by Marchant and put down. Gill waiting behind the play of the ball. Moves it inside to Hanley. Hanley having to come on his own. Knocks off one, gets it onto Edwards. Edwards coming down the middle, has broken through. Looking for someone, but the cover they keep sealing up these cracks. Sealing up the gaps in the defence. Dowling gains a lot of ground for Wigan. And he's penalised for not playing it. Referee says he was tackled. Castleford spectators now breaking into chorus as it looks as if Wigan's third trip to Wembley is fast disappearing. Ketteridge to kick for touch. This has been a hard match as Sandy comes up to take... No, he leaves it for Horton. Horton takes the tap, hands it on to Ketteridge. Ketteridge runs into Wayne. Wayne puts him down. Horton to Beardmore. Beardmore to Mountain. Mountain easily tackled by the Wigan forwards. Horton running out from acting half-back, turns it back inside. Castleford grimly hanging on to this ball, making sure they keep it away from Wigan. moving from side to side of the field, not allowed of ground being gained. Wigan line up very close as Joyner sends a long pass cross field. Managed to get his pass in, forward charging, it comes out, centre kicks over the head and straight into touch. Wigan 8 points behind. About 5 minutes to go. Asking a tremendous amount of Wigan to rescue this game now. The ball's in, Wheeling came out the side. These precious minutes tick away. Edwards feeds out to Lydon. Lydon running cross, brings Hanley down the middle. Hanley making a break, and he runs into the pack as it breaks up. Potter out to Edwards. Edwards picks it up off his toes, out to Goodway, who's worked very hard, but the Castleford defence has worked equally hard. They've stuck tenaciously to the task. On to Wayne. Wayne puts his head down, dips in, tries to go through. Switch of direction onto Potter. Potter's made a break, can't get rid of the ball as Edward was coming up on his inside. And it's Edwards who gets it, and he hands it on to Lydon. Lydon, a long pass on to Stevenson. Stevenson coming in the middle. Once again, the defences are there, tight and strong and solid. Lydon puts a little kick, it's been knocked down. Wigan have got possession. Should be back to one, and he's lost the ball. Knocked forward, says the referee. Forwards having to come out halfway between the halfway line and the 25. Edwards has it on to Lydon. Lydon moves the long pass to Hanley. Hanley has Hampson on his outside. Hampson shown it to them, and it's not bought. Gale behind the play of the ball. Enfield onto Edwards. Edwards managed to get it onto Kiss. Kiss gets it back onto West. West onto Gale. Gale dummying, turning and twisting. He's let the ball go. Wigan desperately keeping this ball moving. It comes to Goodway. Goodway to Stevenson. Stevenson on to Russell. Russell comes inside. Goodway to Edwards. Edwards on to Dowling. Dowling running at them, hoping to get through them and then slip it, but they're not going to let him as they bury him outside the 25. Kiss to Lydon. Lydon onto Edwards. Back onto Lydon. Onto West, and West is taken, but he managed to get rid of the ball miraculously. Onto Hanley, Hanley coming inside. But these white shirts of Castleford are everywhere. Tackling, tackling, tackling. It comes to Edwards. Bad pass, he does well to hold it. Dummies tries to come through, lobs it back onto Hampson. Hampson puts a kick and he's following it. They're all onside. Ball's loose, Hampson. The ball's been dropped on by Castleford. Back to one. Castleford on their own line. They'll keep it tight here, bringing it away. Happy to play time out. 8-point lead. Forwards sticking it up the jumper. What they have, they hold. And they're holding it very closely. Kettridge quite happy to dive with the ball, play out these tattles. And Wigan going quickly. And that's the fifth tackle, a few yards out from the Castleford line. Castleford kick, straight to Hampson, down his throat. Gives it to Gill. Gill coming in midfield, onto Edwards. Edwards onto Goodway. Goodway managed to get it onto Stevenson. Stevenson going hard, and he's lost the ball. And Castleford have it. Payne in possession. Horton driving forward. 3 Wigan players go in. Very bruising game this. Payne lashing out a little bit there, lost his temper. Touch judge has seen Horton lose his temper. Going to give Wigan the penalty, but one feels too late. As Lydon puts it into touch. Lydon coming up, hands it on to Kiss. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards to Wayne. Wayne can't get out of this tattling. Dowling still playing powerfully, gets over the 25 line. And a penalty to Wigan for lying on in the tattle. But Kiss takes the tap, out to Edwards, on to West. West back to Edwards. To Goodwin, he can't hold it. And Wigan have knocked on. Weariness, tiredness, getting at these players now. Being more to feed the scrum, and he fed it well too, and it's coming out his side. He gets it out onto Rookley. Rookley trying to come in the middle, and there goes the hooter. The end of this third round cup, the end of Wigan's journey to Wembley. The final score: Wigan 2, Castleford 10. Castleford tattle Wigan right out of the game. Wigan unable to make a break, and as the players go off after a really tremendous cup tie. This is your commentator, John McDermott, hoping you've enjoyed the film made by your cameraman, Brian Worthington. And may I remind you once again that there are films of the Australian Rugby League available from Micron Electric.